And then I started to ask myself, like, what is it that I actually physically, actionably do to create belief in myself? What is it that I actually do to have that self-love? How do I get around the fact of when, you know, people are like, be the light, but your lights are shut off?
Yeah.
How do I not let those things, how did I not let those things affect me?
Yeah.
And I would say, number one, I realized that people asked me about my strengths before I knew what they were. So that's how I found out that I was good. And then I took that and I made the action. And then I diagnosed myself. Like, Sarah, what is it that you actually do? And so one of the things that I teach all the time, or I talk about all the time as far as like self-love and worthiness, is belief. Right? Belief is an action word. And you hear people all the time when they're like, oh, you got to believe in yourself. You got to believe in yourself. Well, when you can't afford anything and there's always more month than money, how? Can somebody please tell me how?
I know it's coming.
Oh, yeah.
I believe in myself.
Right. So how do you do it? And for me, belief breaks down into 5 really simple steps.
Let's talk about it.
Number 1, a repetitious thought turns into your awareness, turns into evaluation, turns into your action, turns into progress, which creates a higher and newer level of belief. What does all of that mean? I love analogies. Can I use analogies?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I like seeing pictures. But when you have a repetitious thought, right, you're literally creating a neurological pathway inside of your brain. So scientifically speaking, right, when people say, put the pictures on the TV, put the pictures on your phone, put the pictures on your walls, you've got to see it, right? Like that car that you want. If you get a new car and you start to see that car everywhere, you're literally creating a neurological pathway inside of your brain. And it's like a cornfield. If I ran through a cornfield one time, no one would know that I ran through the cornfield, right? Now, if I drove through the cornfield one time, someone would know, okay, I've been in the cornfield. However, over time, corn would start to grow back and no one would really know that someone drove through the cornfield. But if I continuously drive that same path again and again and again and again, not only would people know that somebody was in the cornfield, but corn wouldn't grow there any longer, right? And our brain works the same way. If you drive that thought again and again and again, not only is it at the forefront of your mind, but now it's harder for fears and doubts to grow there any longer, right? So that repetitious thought, what it's doing is it's creating awareness. Now, awareness is like a radar. If we think about a submarine, it's like doot, doot, right? Inside of entrepreneurship, inside of self-love, inside of worthiness, I always say it's all like a map of the United States. As old as we are today, if we've only ever seen a map of the United States, if you get around people that really believe in themselves, that love themselves, that are living a wealthy lifestyle, and they're like, Japan, first instinct is Japan doesn't exist. Because you've only ever seen a map of the United States. In school, they only ever taught you the United States. And now somebody's saying something about Japan. Well, that's why our friends and family, the people that love you the most, support you the least. Because they too have only ever seen a map of the United States. And so they're actually trying to keep you safe in who you are instead of seeing you for who you can be. So when you have that awareness and your radar expands, right? Oh, Japan is over here. We're in Los Angeles. I'm trying to get to Japan. I don't know what the journey's going to look like. I don't know, but you can evaluate. Okay, I want to get here. This is where I am. What is it going to take? I know there's a big body of water somewhere. I either have to fly, get on a yacht, a boat, a cruise, somehow something. It's going to, this big body of land mass, like somehow you can start to evaluate this is the end goal, right? And this is where I am. So then you can get into action. And I don't know what every person's journey looks like. Some people have a friend that has a private jet and it's quick and easy. And some people got to hitchhike. Their engine blows out. They got to walk some of the way. They got to be a nomad for some time. You know, the journey looks different for every person, but are you willing to get into action? And what starts to happen is when you get into that action, even if you only, you know, like let's say if it's in business or if it's with self-love, even if you stuck by yourself, like you honored what you said you were going to do yourself. If you kept that promise, that one, starting with one promise to yourself, it's like, okay, if I can keep one promise, I can keep 2. If I can raise my standard 1%, I can raise it 2%, then 3%, then 5%. Next thing you know, your standards are your standards, and either people rise to the occasion or they fall off, right? And so what starts to happen is when you do that thing, you start to believe in yourself a little bit more. You puff your chest out a little bit, your belief is higher. And then you do it all over again. A new repetitious thought, a new level of awareness, a new level. And it just keeps going on and on and on until you get to a place where you have an unshakable belief in yourself. The fact of the matter is, for me, life is hard, period.
Yeah.
Like, it's always going to come and slap us in the face.
It ain't going nowhere.
Right.
Yeah.
So we just get to choose, like, change our perspective and understanding.
react.
Yeah, like, it's going to slap every single one of us in the face, every single one. But eventually we get better at fighting.
I love how you say your friends pointed out your strengths before you even knew, because that's how we started Boss Talk. Like, our friends always call us for advice. When they go through stuff, they reach out to us. Our fans like, y'all give such great advice. So we like, let's just start this then.
Yeah.
Like, they pointed it out to us. So I think people out there need to really start listening to what their friends see in them. Sometimes believe what people see in you. Not the negative.
Yes.
Of course,
Yes.
some negative people, but the positive people in your life. But they see in you, believe that.
Yeah.
And that's why we love what you said too, because we always say on here that, you know, exposure leads to expansion.
Absolutely.
You know, so when you get exposed to certain things, the mind gets expanded, the heart gets expanded, and, you know, everything else just, you know, follows with it. And even when you were saying just the 1% and 2% thing, that's, you know, what our sunglasses company, we never started an e-commerce business before, but we were just like, all right, well, we've had a business, so we know that it takes certain actionable steps, and the only way to get a step in is to start stepping.
Yeah.
So once we literally got the domain name, that was the 1%. Because then we're excited. We got it. All right. So what's next? What's the 2%?
Yes.
Oh,
LLC.
LLC.
Yes.
Okay, we got that. Now we super excited. That boosts us to like 10%. We like, oh, it's happening now.
Yes.
And you start to feel yourself get excited, and then on launch day, you're like, oh man, look how far we came from 5 months ago. But the 5 months passed so quickly because you just in it.
Yes.
You
just
had an idea in March and launched in August.
Yeah.
That's how fast it happened.
Yeah, you were just in it. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like we love what you said. I think sometimes people focus on the big leap and not the steps in between.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you can make that big jump, but there were some little details in there that you missed along the way that, you know, would have helped you out
Yes.
in your journey. So
Yes.
I think that's amazing. So everything you just explained was fire. So
Thank you.
that's great.
Thank
And you kind of explained my question, because I had a question about how to have self-love when you don't see the financial support and the love that you are trying to get to. That's a tough thing. People, I think, sometimes ask us, like, you know, guys, you know, but when I'm hungry or when I'm, how do I, you know, I was like, and we always tell them, you gotta be, and you gotta know, like you said,
Yes.
unwavering. You just gotta know. When we watched
This is temporary.
yeah,
Yes.
and I was like, that's how all these tech giants got to, even though some of them are pretty much assholes, but they had an unwavering belief. They said, this company if I don't get this done, it ain't nobody getting it done.
I think for me, it helps me just keep saying it's not happening to me, it's happening for me.
Yep.
Yes.
This is
Absolutely.
part of the growth. This is part of the
Yes.
journey. And that
Yes.
keeps me pushing forward.
Yes.
That alone.
I agree. And I think that for me, I funnel everything through life mantras.
Yeah.
Like when things start to go wrong or things, I like every single thing you do have to know, and you've got to get around people that speak life into
Absolutely.
you as well. You know, so for me, I always say I was built for this. That's my mantra right now. I was built for this.
We say
That's hilarious.
we say
You built
when your
for
birthday?
July 2nd.
I thought you was
Okay,
an Aries,
okay,
you know?
okay.
Yeah, my sister's in Aries.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. I did meet your sister. She cool people. We say that all the time. We built for this,
Built
man.
for
We
it.
built different.
Yes, yes.
Built-
That makes a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, or this is all a part of my story. And it's crazy because I think back to like when I first started, the person that introduced me to entrepreneurship in the beginning, she was
Yeah.
like, she had a good life. Like
Yeah.
she still has a good life. Like she she was taken care of. You know what I mean? I wasn't. I was struggling. The struggle was mad real,
Listen,
right? Like my
we
car
know.
used to squeak on every block. My
Hey,
gas gauge pointed downward.
We were
Didn't
homeless
have
at
AC.
one point.
Oh, yeah.
my God. I
Through it
slept
all.
on her couch. So technically I was homeless, but I had a place to sleep on. her
Yeah,
couch,
yeah.
You know?
We did.
That's our
same-
type of homeless too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
friends
was on the
let us say.
street, but you know, but yeah, and it's crazy because I remember going through so many different things. Like my car that used to squeak on every block crashed itself on the freeway while I was driving. Don't ask me any questions. That's just how it happened. Okay.
I was just about to say, wait, how
Oh,
did
yeah.
it
We gonna throw that. We
Crashed
gonna walk.
itself?
Yeah, we gonna walk right
All right,
past
yeah,
that.
well,
Tesla or something?
we gonna, there was definitely not a Tesla. Ooh, it was definitely not a Tesla. It was an old Jimmy. That's a GMC
Okay.
Jimmy. And you got that, like, I learned, be careful what you curse in your life.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, that thing that you may hate is still getting you.
Oh,
from
yeah.
point A
Oh,
to B.
yeah.
So be grateful for it,
yeah.
right? Then my car crashed itself. My mentor at the time was in Torrance, and I was living in Hollywood. So that's a 45-minute drive. And now it's 2 buses and a train, 2.5 hours one way, 3 hours ride back, just to get around the space of someone that believed in the vision that I had for myself.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
I gotta do it, because success doesn't come to us. We have to go to it.
You gotta walk it down.
Yo, so I swear, when my car crashed itself, I got robbed at the bus stop.
Oh,
like, there are
Lord.
so many things that went terribly awful in my
Yeah.
life, and I feel like it's God. I feel like whenever you make the decision to do something great,
tested.
it's like adversity comes up.
Oh, yeah.
Like, immediately. And it's like, come on. But I feel like it's really God saying, how bad do you really want it?
Yeah, because how you do anything is how you
you
do
do
everything.
We had a thing
You
where,
know.
like, the worse it was getting, the more excited I got. Yeah, I'm close.
Yeah,
Because I'm being really tested.
It be times when we be in the pits and we would just look at each other and laugh because we be like,
Yeah, we laugh at everything.
and we be like, this is funny because we know it's temporary.
Yes.
We know it's
We were built for
temporary. You gotta
We were built for this.
Built
when
for
people
this.
say
Yes.
they can't do something I'm doing, I get excited. Yeah, I'm different.
Right?
I'm built to, let's go.
Yes. That belief,
That
man. You gotta have
belief.
that knowing. You gotta know.
Yeah.
Oh, and you gotta get around the people that pull the champion out of you. Because it is hard.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
It's hard.
For sure.
But most people will be like, oh, this is hard. That's what my girl used to say all the time. Sarah, it doesn't have to be this hard. You shouldn't be struggling like this. You could do this. You could do that. And I'm like, yo, get around the people that pull the champion out of you, not the people that pacify you. The people that say, this is hard, but what's the exit strategy?
Yeah.
This is hard, but what we about to do about this? Because this can't be forever.
Yeah,
we built for this.
We don't condone bullying, but we condone positive bullying.
Yeah.
Like we'll be like, oh, so you didn't work on your business. Oh, you must not want no money today.
Right.
Okay.
You
Because
right
I
there.
know you got it in you,
Right,
but you
right,
must
right,
not want.
right.
All right, cool. You,
Like riding the bus.
yeah. So me.
here's some money.
Right.
I remember you told me a business I did last week. You ain't started yet. Oh, that's crazy. That's
Let me
why. That's
tell
why.
you.
Yeah.
Wild out here.
Sometimes you gotta do that
that's
to
what
people.
people need.
Yeah,
Yes.
you gotta do that to people.
Yes.
Now I wanted to ask. So, of course, there are times in our life when we, like you said, we pulling change out the couch
Man,
to put
same.
$3 on pump 5. That
Yeah.
must be when gas was,
Yeah, because that ain't getting you
Yeah.
nowhere now. You
But
running out of-
once you start making some money, now how did you educate yourself in that area on what to do with your money? Because
Man.
that's a big thing. And I know you talk about investing a little bit, but like, what was it like when you first started making your money? Like, how were you managing your money then, or were you not?
I wasn't at first. I was spending every dime.
Yep.
Like
It's exciting.
I thought that net and gross were the same thing.
Oh, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, like I was like, oh, I'm rich out here. No, and then you got to pay taxes.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
That's what it
Oh, yeah.
I learned a lot of things the wrong way. And it's funny because when you ask about how did I monetize self-love, people will pay you to take the fast track and pass all the mistakes that you made.
For sure.
Right? So that's how I monetize.
Oh, no, for sure.
At first it was tragic. Now I'm around so many people that it's like, oh, we got this investment going on. Oh, we have this going on. Oh, CPAs. Oh, like it's a different life now. But when I first started, I think the first financially, well, the first thing was my great aunt. Okay, there's a time
Okay.
where I rented a room for $200. By the way, I was struggling to pay $200 with my great aunt.
Been there.
Had a blue shag rug, right? She was my roommate.
Yeah.
At the time, I think she was like 79. Love her to death. Aunt Marge, I love you so much. If you ever
Aunt
hear this,
Marge.
changed my life. Yes, she changed my life. And she taught me about credit.
Yeah.
Aunt Marge taught me about credit. I did not understand. And when I moved here, I'm from Canada. I didn't have I didn't have credit.
Yeah.
And having no credit is worse than having bad credit. Because now you got to build up trade lines and all of these things. And I really didn't understand that at all. And my credit score was a 508. Did you hear me? A 508.
Oh.
Pretty bad.
You can't get nothing.
Oh, yeah,
like
yeah.
literally nothing.
You can get out the office.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. You can get a no.
Yeah,
That's
you
what
can definitely get a no.
Absolutely not. But she taught me, and I started with a secured credit card.
Nice.
And you know, obviously, so many things have changed since then. But it was that, and then I remember asking people, like, what do I do with my money? Like, how do I do better? And it was little things. Like, I learned about IULs, and I firmly believe in allowing people that are great at doing what they're doing to do it.
Oh, absolutely.
So, getting like a financial planner, getting a CPA, because I don't know a lot of things, and I probably should be better at, like, there's a lot I don't know about taxes, but there's quite a few things I do know about taxes.
We had Mitch on here talking about taxes.
Ooh.
And I was like, it's just a lot of words and stuff.
I don't understand.
That shit's scary.
Yeah, it is a lot. It's so many things.
Here, give me back as much as you can.
Yeah, just take it. Take the paper and take it. I don't want it.
I do not know the answers. But I started learning that. I started learning those different things.
Yeah.
And it's just been a growth since then. So the first question for people, I think that a really great place to start is getting your credit together. Now, I don't teach credit at all.
Yeah.
But I believe
I could point you to a lot of people to teach credit.
I could too. Like leveraging your credit is completely different. Getting funding for your business, whether it's business credit or personal credit, is an absolute game changer. There's a lot of little things you can do to really leverage things. So I would say that.
She when we were out with Brandon in Arizona, she know Brandon too.
Yeah,
I think that whole circle of the entrepreneur, the new 2022 entrepreneur game, between Neo, Corey, Brandon, Derek, everybody, Ellie, we know everybody, but it's a beautiful thing to see all these black people doing all these amazing things, and they're the reason why a lot of connects that we got, because we just met a lot of these people within the past year.
Wow.
Which is interesting, and it just comes from the work that we've done before that got us in the door to meet a lot of these people, which is actually wow when I think about it.
Working good
Relationships.
Relationships.
Relationships will take you places that achievements, accolades, degrees cannot.
So that was my intro to my next segment about relationships. How have the relationships that you've made over the past few years, now that you've started your business, how have they elevated your life? And,
oh my gosh.
You can't even put it in words. Yeah, no, I feel you. I feel you.
Literally cannot quantify. The people in my phone,
yeah,
like I could sell my phone for $10,000. I literally easily could sell my phone probably for $100,000 to be honest. Not even just because, like, it's a regular iPhone. People pay what, $1,500 for this?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Right. Well, whatever it is. Like,
it's probably somewhere up there.
Yeah, it is. I'm pretty sure it is. I'm pretty sure it is. And I have like the most gigs, whatever. Okay, $1,500. Well, how would I turn $1,500 into $100,000? Because the people's numbers that are in my phone, that not only the numbers that are in my phone, but they answer when I call.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They like
that's what matters.
That in itself, on top of every book, and I listen to books and I read books voraciously. I believe in developing. I
can tell because you use voraciously.
We read one book at least a month.
Yeah, that's so important. It's so key, and to absorb it and reflect on it. And so one of the things I do when I listen to books is I take notes.
Yep.
So every book I've ever read, I have a whole library of the Cliff Notes version of the books that I'm listening to. There's so many different things because of relationships, or not because of relationships, but in my phone, I know I could sell my phone for $100,000 easily, but it's really the relationships that would be like, oh, I would love to be able to have a sit down with that person. I would love to be, and it's crazy because doing this podcast, what I'm realizing is I don't ask anyone for anything. I've never been that way. I always just want to add value. I'm always asking, like, is there anything I can do to support you? And oftentimes the answer is no. But because I never ask for anything, now that I'm doing a podcast in Atlanta, and I'm like, hey, people are literally, and I'll be like, I'm not about to fly you in on your private jet, but I will fly you first class. I'll put you up, and they're like, you don't have to worry about my jet. Like, I'll get there. I'll do for free. People are coming to do the show. It's wild to me.
Well, I just let you know when I come. Yeah, I'll take the first class. I mean, I ain't too proud.
That's how you stay wealthy.
That's how you stay wealthy, right?
I'm just saying, but truly, like, and I do the offer. I would just be honored to have you share your zone of genius with our platform, and people are saying yes, and it creates notoriety. It creates so many different things, and I just feel like people miss the note because they're so transactional.
Yep.
It's about what can you do for me? What
Yep.
can you do for me? What can you do for me? But if you play the long game, you would never come at things that
And
way.
that was the first conversation we had when we was at Avalon. We were like, yo, like, we need to put this stuff on record. We need to talk about this stuff. Like
Yeah.
that's and I love when I can just meet people out and that's the conversations that come up because we sit in here and talk about it all the time. Like that's all we be
go
talking
on
about.
walks.
Go on walks, just talking about, and I think those help keep me sane. Like they just like, hey, we're gonna be doing this, we're gonna do that, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, and you just
Because
you feel
that's
good.
how you grow. If you're
Yeah.
not reading, if you're not having these experiences, where are you growing from?
Yeah.
Like people that say they don't read scare me.
Right.
I'm like, how are you growing?
wait,
Like,
Yeah,
what
what
are
did
you consuming?
Do you have a mentor?
Yeah, like, that we need. That's another thing. Having these mentors, having people that you can just and like now, like people are like, well, I don't know where I can go. There are plenty of online mentors. Like you can pick a mentor and just follow them and just watch what they do, and then do that stuff. But I was gonna ask. We were talking about travel. All right, we're talking about travel. We're talking about travel now,
Love it.
and I think when we spoke, we were talking about how well, first off, she got on us because we was on United the other day. I said, hey man, it was a free ticket.
It was a
it's
quick
like
trip.
It was
United.
the last
It's
minute.
like-
It just happened. Like we going to Phoenix.
I
All
might
right,
have missed.
what's
I
the
might have
flight?
missed the excursion. I'm just like, no, United.
Like I'm a Delta fan. I love
I
Delta.
fly
You know what I'm
Delta.
saying? But hey, but when it's free,
That was the last
put
minute
me.
no for
She said, "Hey, I should have called back. Hey, can you do something else?"
Right,
But with travel, in what ways has that expanded your exposure to growth and self-love when it comes to travel in that aspect? Because I think that's a big thing too.
yeah.
Because this world is huge.
Absolutely.
So
And
yeah.
I've been blessed to travel all over the world, and I've got to say, seeing different cultures and hearing different stories. Like I'm the person where if I was just in Dominican Republic at a beautiful resort. Oh my gosh! Like
Yeah, that looked nice.
oh
That
my
place
goodness,
looked nice.
it absolutely stunning. But I will sit and talk with the people that work there. I want to know stories. Like I want to have conversations with a little bit of everyone. Or if I'm out in the city, me, my sister, and two of my best girlfriends, we went to Rome, Santorini, and Athens.
Yeah.
And we did like a
Greece is-
three. Oh, beautiful. We did a 3.5
place,
week just trip out there. Right. It was my birthday. And
We went to Mykonos, not Santorini, because that's too romantic for us.
Yeah, for us
we
by
did both,
ourselves.
actually. We did Mykonos and Santorini.
A group of girls could do that.
Yeah.
Me and him, we not
Yeah,
doing
I feel
that.
that. I feel you.
We said Mykonos it
I got it.
is.
You could have just drove to the other side, like, hey, we right here. But yeah, so it's crazy because I love just sitting and talking to the people,
Yep.
and I love the food when you see the food differences and the fashion and the mindsets, and also I'm realizing in the United States we're so extra.
Oh, for
Like
sure.
we need so
First
much to
world
be.
problems.
Yeah, we
Oh,
have
yeah.
so many first world problems. When you start talking to people, where literally, while I was in Dominican, I was like trying to learn to speak Spanish, and well, I'm still learning.
Yeah.
Estoy aprendiendo español. I'm learning to speak Spanish, but, but the driver,
Yeah.
right? And it happens in Atlanta as well. There's these little kids that sell water at
Yeah.
lights, and they're very aggressive. The kids
yeah.
are very aggressive, and I was asking. We were having a conversation in Spanish. I can understand a lot. Sometimes I don't have the words, but I was like, "Where are their parents?" And he was telling me, a lot of their parents force their kids to come out here to make the money to do this. Some of them don't have parents. Some of the he was just giving me the whole rundown, and it's like, yo, these kids are out here selling water for practically no money to just survive, and they're okay.
Yep.
They're happy. And not to say that money isn't great, because it is, and I'm not going to sit here and say I don't love nice things. I do,
For sure.
I'm not here to pick on any of those things, but I am here to say that when you can be happy with nothing, absolutely nothing,
Different.
everything else is a cherry on the top.